Alright, guys. So on the last live stream, I made a claim that I have to retract because, yeah, I was misled. So I made the claim that Donald Trump's approval rating is the lowest ever in U.S. history. Now, it's still terrible, don't get me wrong, but it's not the lowest in U.S. history. It's the lowest since World War II. So, yeah, this is from Gallup, one of the most respected, most neutral, and trusted polling uh, people that there is. Probably the most. But let's dig into this really quickly. Trump's inaugural approval rating is historically low again. Americans divided over whether Trump's pace in addressing major U.S. problems is about right or too fast. At 47%, President Donald Trump's initial job approval rating for his second term is similar to the inaugural 45% reading during his first term, again placing him below all other elected presidents dating back to 1953. Trump remains the only elected president with sub 50% initial approval ratings, and his latest disapproval rating, 48%, is 3 percentage points higher than in 2017, marking a new high for inaugural ratings. So I gotta have to uh, correct again, not even since World War II, but it's still pretty damn damning. So here's the chart. Let me see if I can pull. No, it's not a picture, or at least it don't give me the option to pull the image out in a different frame, so this will have to be large enough. So approval ratings are done by letting people decide whether they approve, disapprove, or they have no opinion. So as you can see here, the highest approval rating since then was John Kennedy with 72%, and this is, yeah, so lowest, both of these lowest are Donald J. Trump. His first term was even worse with 45% approval rating. Second, currently, is the second lowest with 47%. So the big difference here, so you might go like, okay, he's like roughly in the same area as George H.W. Bush and Ronald Reagan. Notice that these are all right wingers. I wonder why. But so the important thing here is the disapproval rating. So out of the people polled, Donald Trump's first term was a 45% disapproval rating, and his second term, the current term, is a 48% disapproval rating. So he actually broke records in that category. And so what we're seeing is that fewer people have no opinion when it comes to Donald Trump, which is kind of, in my opinion, what you would expect, because most MAGA people that will just automatically approve no matter what are by definition cult members. Like they don't know anything about anything. They're in like this bubble of misinformation, an echo chamber. So yeah, I mean, let me read just a little bit more down here. Trump's current job approval rating from Gallup's January 21st to 27th poll, which I'll note is on like less than a week ago. It's the most up-to-date data we have, is not significantly different from the 51% readings earned by George H.W. Bush and Ronald Reagan in the early days of the presidencies. However, initial evaluations of Trump differ in that Americans are much more likely to disapprove of his performance rather than have no opinion, as was the case for the elder Bush and Reagan. John Kennedy has the highest inaugural approval rating at 72%, followed closely by Dwight Eisenhower and Barack Obama, who both had strong starts with 68% readings. Jimmy Carter received a 66% approval rating, while Richard Nixon, Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, and George W. Bush had ratings between 57 and 59%. Although Trump's latest rating is weak compared with past presidents' initial readings, it is among the best he has received as president. His personal high point during his first term was 49%, which he earned on several occasions in 2020. Trump averaged 41% approval in his first term and is the only president not to receive a job rating of 50% or higher at any point in his presidency. He left office in January 2021 with the lowest rating of his presidency, 34%, after the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Let's also not mention the important bungling, his complete fuck up of handling fucking COVID-19, which led to many, many deaths that weren't necessary. So very importantly here, because we're not just focusing on one tiny little tidbit to just cast Trump in a bad light, we're looking at like the aggregate or the average approval rating through his entire fucking time in office. So let me read this one more time. Hold on, I lost it. There it is. Trump averaged 41% approval in his first term and is the only president not to receive a job rating of 50% or higher at any point in his presidency. That is how terrible fucking Donald Trump is as president, at least in terms of what the American people think about him and his job. So I bring this up because I like to pop into like chat rooms and stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, the internet is not perfectly reflective of society as a whole, obviously. But at the same time, I see a lot of people that are like talking about how popular Trump is right now. I don't know if you're getting all of your news from Fox News or some crazy right wing echo chamber, but the facts show otherwise. Like, you need to get out of your cult because you seem to have absolutely no idea what's actually going on in the world. Like, everything is like the words of your God King. And every word to you just has to be a fact because it came from his mouth, which is pathetic. Yeah, that's basically all I wanted to cover. So now that I've corrected my mistake on the last one, I'll still point out that it's still abysmal. Like, it's fucking pathetic. And I don't see how anyone could possibly defend the man. And I'll note that when people do try to defend the man, they never use any actual like policies that he's put forth. They never actually go into facts. It's always emotional appeals, which shows that they're in a cult. Thank you for your time.